There are people who are cursed to see the truth. They look at a face and catch the lie before the word is even spoken. They walk into a room and feel something is wrong before anyone has said a single thing. They watch someone laugh and know deep down that the laughter is hollow. And the worst part, they can't turn it off. Most people around them have no idea this is happening. They call these people too sensitive, overthinking, paranoid. But what if this isn't a flaw? What if this is something God placed inside them? A weight, a burden, and a calling all at once. If you've spent your whole life seeing what everyone else seems to miss, this video is going to feel uncomfortably familiar. The first sign is that you read people faster than they can read themselves. Not because you're suspicious by nature, but because your mind processes what most people filter out. The micro-tension in someone's jaw, the half-second delay before the smile arrives, the way their words say one thing and their body says something completely different. You pick all of it up, automatically, involuntarily, and it has been this way since you can remember. The prophet Jeremiah had this same curse. He saw the destruction of Jerusalem coming long before it arrived. He watched his people celebrate in the streets while he felt the walls crumbling. Nobody believed him. They mocked him, threw him in a cistern, called him a traitor. And yet, the word burned inside him like fire in his bones. He couldn't stay quiet. He couldn't pretend not to see. And that tension between what you know and what the world refuses to acknowledge is something you have felt your entire life. Here's the painful part about this first sign. It creates an unbearable gap. You are always 5 steps ahead of the conversation. You already know what someone is going to do before they do it. And instead of feeling powerful, it usually just feels lonely. The second sign is that fake environments drain you almost physically. You don't just notice inauthenticity, you absorb it. Corporate meetings where everyone performs confidence, social gatherings where nobody says what they actually mean, family dinners where old wounds are buried under polite smiles. Other people leave these situations fine. You leave them exhausted, sometimes for days, because your mind never stopped processing every layer of what was really happening beneath the surface. Jesus never engaged with people's masks. He engaged with their hearts. When the Pharisees came to test him with their polished religious theater, he didn't argue on their terms. He looked straight through the performance and called them what they were: whitewashed tombs, beautiful on the outside, hollow underneath. The people who carry this gift today do the same thing. You see the expensive office, the authoritative tone, the rehearsed charisma, and underneath it all, you smell the fear and insecurity they're working so hard to hide. And pretending that you don't is its own kind of slow suffocation. The third sign is that you have been burned for telling the truth. Not because you were cruel, not because you were wrong, but because you said out loud what everyone else had silently agreed to never say. You named the elephant in the room. You refused to go along with a narrative that didn't hold up under pressure. And people didn't thank you for it. They resented you. They distanced themselves. Some of them turned on you completely. Elijah understood this. After his greatest victory, the calling down fire on Mount Carmel, proving everything he had been saying was true, he didn't celebrate. He ran into the wilderness, sat down under a tree, and asked God to let him die. The reason? He was convinced he was the only one left who still saw clearly. That is the particular kind of loneliness that comes not from being wrong, but from being right in a world that punishes it. If you've ever wondered why your honesty keeps costing you relationships, this is why. Most people would rather protect a comfortable lie than sit with an uncomfortable truth. The fourth sign is that you feel responsible for things you didn't cause. Someone in your life is suffering, and even though you had nothing to do with it, you feel like you should have seen it coming, should have said something, should have intervened. The chosen ones carry other people's pain as if it belongs to them. You attend a funeral and grieve not just for the person, but for everything that led there. The loneliness, the missed moments, the words that were never said. You see the full weight of things, and the full weight is heavy. This is not weakness. It is actually the marker of someone who was built to carry more than average. But without understanding what it is, it destroys people. It turns into chronic anxiety, into hypervigilance, into an inability to rest even when life is objectively fine. Your nervous system is running a constant scan for danger, for pain, for what's being hidden, because somewhere along the way, seeing these things mattered. It protected you or someone you loved, but now the scanner won't stop, even when there's nothing left to find. The fifth sign is that you have a complicated relationship with hope. You want to believe in people deeply. You root for them, pray for them, invest in them, and then you watch them make the exact choice you saw coming from the beginning, over and over again. And it doesn't make you cynical, it makes you tired, because you never stopped hoping, even when everything you could see told you not to. This is the burden, and this is also the calling. Because here is what the blueprint of a chosen one actually looks like when it's working correctly. Not someone who uses their vision to stay one step above everyone else. Not someone who sits back and watches the world fail from a comfortable distance, but someone who sees the full, painful truth and chooses compassion anyway. Who looks at the mask and doesn't see deception, but sees the wound that made the mask necessary. Who understands that the goal was never to be the one who exposes everything. The goal is to become a light that is still burning when the storm has put everything else out. Jeremiah didn't stop speaking even when they threw him in the pit. Elijah didn't stay under that tree. God met him there and sent him back. Jesus didn't recoil from the hollowness he saw in people. He walked straight into it with mercy. The vision was never meant to isolate you. It was preparation. And the question is not whether you have been given it. The question is what you are going to do with it, now that you know you were never meant to use it alone. Because the chosen ones who survive this gift are not the ones who see the most. They are the ones who learn that what they see was never given to them as a weapon. It was given to them as a responsibility. And there is a difference between those two things that most people with this gift spend decades failing to understand. The difference is this: a weapon is used to win. A responsibility is carried so that someone else doesn't have to fall alone. If you recognized yourself in any of these 5 signs, the involuntary reading of people, the exhaustion of fake environments, the cost of telling the truth, the weight of other people's pain, the complicated and battered persistence of hope, then you already know that none of this has been easy. You didn't ask for it. You probably tried to turn it off. And somewhere along the way, you started wondering if something was wrong with you. Nothing is wrong with you. You were just built for something heavier than average, and the weight you carry is not a sign that God has forgotten you. It is a sign that He still has somewhere for you to go.